Hey guys, it's been a really rough week in the Rockhounding Life house. Everyone's been sick. This really crazy respiratory virus has been going around, so I don't really want to work on any of my grinding machines this week. So I thought today I had this big chunk of Indian Moss Agate, and I've been wanting to cut and slab this up to see how it looks, to see if it's got some potential for making jewelry. So today we're going to do this. It's too big to go on my high-tech diamond saw, so we're going to use the Highland Park 24-inch slab saw. And we're going to show you how we set this up and cut slabs off it. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is get our piece of Indian Moss Agate, which has a nice long shape. This is going to be nice for setting in the vise. So what we want to do is make sure this is snug in the vise, where we're going to be taking off maybe, 3, 4, 5 slices so that we don't have to reposition the rock later. So we want to make sure that the first position we get in the vise, we don't have to move it around afterwards, because then we won't have even cuts. So that's what I'll do first. Once I feel like I have it secure, I'll just give it a nice... You shouldn't be able to move it at all with any of your physical strength. So it's pretty locked in there into the vise. Next thing I do is I line up the automatic shutoff. So this is the automatic shutoff switch. Basically, how it works is as the feed motor's turning, it's advancing the rock this way into the saw blade. And as it gets to a certain point, you can see this chain is attached to the other side of the switch, and as there's tension on it, as this gets further, hear that click? It just pulled the switch off. So that shuts the saw off. So what I'll be doing is positioning that rock just past the feed, like right there. Looks pretty good. Might go a little further, but that's how we set it up. So right now it's set to shut off when the rock gets to this position. I'll probably move it back just a little bit this way, and then we'll get started. And to do that, all I do is take the chain off and I just give it a little more slack. And now, as I move it, it's now to there when I get to full tension, which is plenty of room. And you can see I'm not too deep into the saw, so it'll turn off at that point. Again, that's just a safety measure on this saw. Really like it. I use it all the time because sometimes I'll start the saw and I'll go upstairs and I'll let it go for a half an hour. Sometimes it takes, I got bigger rocks on there, big full side cads, full round 8 inches, and it takes like an hour to cut them. So I'll go upstairs and hang out and just wait, and then when I come down, sometimes it's automatically shut off. So it's a nice useful feature. So now that we got the automatic shut off set, I'm gonna actually line up how thick I want my slab to be, and I use that using this rotary control here. It moves the vise this way, and we'll line up my rock, and I can set the thickness of how I want to slice that up. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so you can see I've got a nice healthy first cut there. That'll cut the end piece off, and then we will offset it probably like a 1/4 inch, maybe 1/3 of an inch for each slab after that. But yeah, now we're going to line it up with the blade. So how I do this to get the starting position, I unlock my rollers, and basically I'll put it on there till I hear it touch, and then I'll come back and lock it again, and then I'll turn the blade, and I don't hear it scraping up against the rock, so that's a good thing. You don't want it touching the rock as it starts, but that's pretty snug, so it'll start the feed. It'll probably start hitting the rock about 10 seconds after I start the machine up, so that's what I want. Also, I thought I'd mention turning the rotors right now, turning all the gear mechanisms. It's a little difficult because I haven't used the saw in about a week and a half or so it's not lubricated as much as it would be, because normally it's throwing oil around in there and it self-lubricates. So the oil's kind of settled everywhere right now. So once I run this today, everything will be all lubricated up again. So That's a good thing about these saws. You don't really have to do much maintenance to them. This also comes, see this little slot right here? There's an EverClean system. It's a pump centrifuge system. It cleans out all the gunk from the bottom of your tank, and it keeps your oil, like you basically run your oil forever almost, as long as you keep up with the maintenance on that EverClean. It's just a unit that sits outside here. I don't have it, obviously. It was like an extra $1,000, but I don't have it. I saw them run when I was down at the Highland Park warehouse, and they're awesome. They work amazingly. You just got to clean them often, and they're way easier to clean. It's just a little can with some gunk in it. It's way easier to clean than cleaning your tank every 6 months. So yeah, just a thought, if anyone's ever going to buy one of these machines, definitely look into that EverClean system. It's awesome. So let's get this saw fired up. You can see as I close the lid, this little latch here closes the circuit, and that allows me to start the machine. So right now it's in stop mode, so I just pull that out, and then I can push this. It's actually, I gotta pull this out now too because it's in the off position. So that's my emergency stop, my automatic stop. So now I can just push the green button and she should start up. And then we will hear the rock hitting the saw in a couple seconds, hopefully. So you can hear it clicking on the rock now. So it's starting to cut now. So I would say this rock will probably take maybe 20 minutes to cut. So we'll see you in 20 minutes. So I just came down to check, and as you can see, the saw is off. So hopefully the automatic shut-off worked. You can see it's in the off position, so looks like it did. Let's check. As you can see, we have it there, and there's our slab sitting there. So let's take a look at what this looks like. That's pretty, that's really green. You can see some of the edge there, some translucency there. So I think maybe we'll cut this thin. See if we can get some cool translucent effects going on. Let's take a look at what this side looks like. Yeah, so I think this is gonna look nice if we cut it thin. So I'm gonna cut it thin, maybe a ½ inch. Let's get it ready for the next slab. Once again, I've come down and the saw is stopped, so the automatic shutoff is working. So let's take a look at the slab we just made. There's our slab. Got a little bit of translucency on this one. So when I pull these out, they're full of oil, obviously. So what I do is I have a little bin of cat litter here. I usually just throw it in, cover it up, and in about an hour or so, all the oil's off it, and I can wash it off with water, and it's totally fine. So these slabs I'm going to be using for something Christmassy. In the next couple weeks, we'll be making a little special thing for Christmas. So stay tuned on the channel to see that. But let's set this up to cut another slab. Okay, we're done the third slab. Let's check it out. Some really nice green in there. We're starting to get in some nice patterns. We'll check all this stuff out cleaned up at the end. There's no fractures in any of this, so that's really awesome. Stick this in our kitty litter. And we'll get ready to do another slab. And we are done our fourth slab. It's a really nice lime green color. We'll look at it once it dries, the oil gets off of it, and we'll look at it in the sunlight. That's really cool. So I think we can get one more decent slab off that. So let's go ahead and do our fifth one, and then we'll show them at the end. And here are our moss agate slabs out in the sun, and they look spectacular. Really get a better appreciation for this in the daylight. So again, as I mentioned, I have some plans for this material. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing yet. Maybe you guys can guess. Let's have a little fun. If you guys can guess what I'm going to do with this stuff, leave a little comment in the comments below. If you have a suggestion for what I should do with it, feel free to add that below as well. But I do have something in mind for this material. I think it's going to be perfect. And I'll be making a video on it probably in the coming weeks, because it's more of a Christmassy thing. So I'm going to be doing some close-ups of each slab here at the end of the video. So everybody have a great week. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.